like this.
We're in the halfway mark of the spring split this week. We'll see what teams maintain momentum or turn their split around with our games today. We're taking a look at Bjergsen arriving for his game today. 100 Thieves, though, they're ready to see if they can take down the 4-4 TSM to move up in the standings. The LCS studio concessions are looking delicious as always. Wishing maybe we had some of those to snack on during this LCS Countdown. Hello and welcome everyone to LCS Countdown, where for 30 minutes we create the perfect pro and check in on those booming stock portfolios until the timer reaches 0 and we jump into Champions Select. Little double entendre there. Tickets for the spring finals in Frisco, Texas went on sale this Friday, so get online and reserve your spot. You can pick up your seats via SeatGeek.com. For more info on the first time we're heading to Texas, check out the article on lolesports.com. Right now, though, the race to finals has a clear favorite. Cloud9, who still remain undefeated. Then there's the group of teams that Mark lovingly referred to as the soup.
Delicious.
Below them, delicious soup it is. That includes the likes of FlyQuest and Immortals in second, with 6 teams separating them from Counterlogic Gaming in last, which leads us to some breaking news.
Hello, James. This is breaking news. I've been breaking this news for 4 days now.
4 days of breaking news.
Paul Belter, you thought he was going to be a coach, then you thought he was going to be a jungler. Guess what? He's going to be back to mid lane, and he's in for CLG.
Perfect, like, what's going on?
I did not see that coming. That was brilliant.
Paul Belter, that was him watching Crown's performance over the last few weeks. And they have decided to bench Crown and put in Paul Belter. Mark, how's he going to do?
Can't be worse, right?
Probably.
Tell me,
Can it be worse than last place?
Yeah, according to my math degree, I think you can't get worse than last place. I think. It's hypothetical.
All right, we think it's a positive thing here. I mean, honestly, CLG's been doing so bad. They only had the 1 win. Nobody's going to get mad if you try something when everything is on fire like this. And I actually, even though Paul Belter hasn't been playing mid lane, do have high hopes what this can do to try and iron out a couple of their problems.
There's not that many downsides in my eyes because Crown wasn't playing great individually, which is normally what you would say he'd have over Paul Belter. Paul Belter has great communication skills, is always working well with people, bilingual, so he can even talk to Ruin still in the top lane. So, like, there's not much I'm worried about. You also usually get the honeymoon phase when you have one of these swaps. So, as far as I can tell, this should be all positive.
Yeah, it should give some, like, reinvigoration to kind of the entire team. And even now, mid lane is such a, like, particularly weird position where they're influencing the map so much. So, a new player coming in is, going to be exciting for the team.
It's exciting for the team, but bad news for Paul Belter. His first game back with the band is up against the undefeated Cloud9. Who, they're a little good.
A little good? Let me tell you how good they are.
Okay. Tell me how good.
They have the 15.5 KDA, or kills and assists average at 15, which is #1 in the world. They have 100% first Drake, which, as probably knows, is a math professor, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
You can't get higher than 100%, so that's first in the world. And they're also first in the world at 90.8% Drake control over the course of the game.
I think it's important to note that when we talk about world standings, we are removing LPL from the conversation because while the league is on hiatus, their sample size is too small to really confidently put them in world rankings. So that does not include LPL, but does include LEC and LCK.
Right, and we are removing some of the emerging regions as well.
Okay.
And in addition, I mean, they have 2,470 is their gold lead at 15. You think that's pretty good, James? You like
I think
that?
it's pretty good.
You like that number?
That's pretty good.
That's pretty
Guess
good.
what happens in the next 5 minutes?
It goes up.
It goes up to
It gets better.
4,400.
Oh, my God.
They absolutely crush people in the early game, and they've been able to push the game forward without a lot of the hiccups that we've seen some of the teams run into that focus only on early game. These guys have talked about in their interviews afterwards. Yes, we're trying to win these lanes, and you use that winning lane, to get the neutral objectives and then win efficiently.
They generate more than an ace worth of gold in 5 minutes. That's pretty nutty.
Good math.
Thank you.
I'm going to say...
You are easily
professor.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only reason I'm here is to look at these numbers and be excited about it. But those aren't even the most exciting numbers for C9. The most exciting numbers are the fact that their KDA is 13.2
As a team.
What? That's not just like one player like doing well. This is all of them doing
But
really well.
where does it rank in the world?
Very high.
First.
Yeah. And
on our,
I'm going to
LCK
say that this pretty sure you can't get much higher than that. And then again, 100% Baron, I might have to consult some books, but I think that's, again, another hard thing to beat. And then their game time is so short. In LCS, where usually we have a much longer game time than other regions, they're actually doing so well, even compared to LEC.
I think what's cool about that, too, is that we can just call it game time. We don't have to say win time and lose time for C9 because they've only won. So their game time is their win time. And they win in 30 minutes flat every single time. So CLG has their work cut out for them. But I want to figure out, great that you guys threw all these numbers out. That's wonderful. I understand.
Love the numbers.
Okay, numbers are good. They're looking for Cloud9. But how are they actually winning?
All right, James is clearly not getting it, Mark.
So, all right, James, listen again to their objective control that we were saying. No, the other thing that they do really well is their mid-jungle synergy. They play really aggressive, proactive picks in the mid-jungle, and then once they get a lead, and sometimes even when they don't, they start roaming all over the map and snowballing the other two side lanes better than anyone else.
So do they need to shake up their play style at all? Like, in search of this perfect split, right? Would it be wise for them to explore other strategies, or should they keep going the way they're going and just, chug along until they take a loss, kind of?
So I'm a very big fan of the strategy that they're going with right now. I do think that with the next couple patches, there are changes that could give their opponents more options for dealing with what Cloud9 is doing. There's buffs to Cinderhulk. There are buffs to things that you kind of want to play a little bit more defensively, stack up a five-man squad. Cloud9 right now are playing a lot off of early strong lanes and creating skirmishes and then using those leads to kind of snowball ahead, turret plate money, neutral objectives, sorts of things. Looking forward, maybe there's an increased chance that someone can actually take a game off them with some of the changes.
But in your head, you're looking at the other teams to make the changes, maybe for Cloud9 to stick with what they're doing, just Cloud9 gets challenged more in that.
Yeah, very, very much so. And it's not like they can't pick up and use things that have Cinderhulk or Sunfire.
They're going to be playing Ornn.
Yeah.
No one's not playing Ornn.
I don't ever want to see Blabber on a Cinderhulk champion. No,
I think people just, when one team is winning with a singular way, some people start to think that that's the only thing they can do. But remember that Licorice had an amazing Poppy as well that shocked a lot of people. So, he can definitely play Sunfire users as well.
Fair enough. Well, for Cloud9's most senior member, finishing the first round robin undefeated is about making good on something he almost attained when he first joined the team.
It would actually mean a fair amount to me to finish the first half perfectly, because when I first joined C9 in my first split in spring, we almost had the perfect first half. We were 8-0, I think, or we were 7-0. We were somewhere in there. We were winning a lot of our games, and then we lost to Echo Fox, who was the other top team at the time, and with Huni, and Huni kind of showed me up a little bit back when I was a rookie. So I think that being able to accomplish the 9-0 first half is going to feel really good to me.
Who knew winning was so
Excuse me. I was about to speak, and then I just got the little something in my throat. I think, it's interesting to recall back to Licorice's first split and something that they almost achieved. And again, I spoke to him just a couple weeks ago on the queue, and he was even trepidatious about pursuing, perfection, because for him, there's this idea that if we're finding perfection in terms of win-loss record, that means we probably didn't push ourselves to our fullest to explore what our best version of our team is in risking a loss.
Yeah, I think there's, especially for pro players, there's a desire to not kind of publicly state we want the 18-0 or make it seem like that's the priority, because of course you should care more about winning the split and stuff, but underneath that, every single player wants to get that 18-0, so it's nice to hear him at least admit the 9-0 is on the table for them to focus on.
While Cloud9 continues to search for that undefeated split, the day starts with 100 Thieves aiming to get the better of TSM. Then Pobelter and Counterlogic Gaming try to do the unthinkable to take down Cloud9, with 2 more matches before the Academy Showcase featuring CLG Academy versus FlyQuest. Don't forget, Monday night is an all-new night of League of Legends. Join the Tigress and the team for a couple of games before we head over to the Bud Light League Lounge, where Avli and Riv will be joined by some of the offline TV crew. Scar, Fed, and Yvonne.
You!
Don't miss it.
You!
Let's talk about that game 1, though, which has a struggling Meteos looking to go through or get through a potentially surging Dardoch.
Yeah, Meteos is supposed to be one of the biggest bright spots for this 100 Thieves roster, and they've definitely struggled to get him going quite the way that we've seen in most previous splits. The last game versus FlyQuest was one where there were numerous mistakes that he got caught out and died or failed to execute on, whether it was a good idea or not, but not taking safe paths, going for dives against full health Ornns, things like that, which are uncharacteristic for Meteos.
Yeah, it definitely has been a rough spot for him. I think that one of the things that is going to be really big for the junglers in this matchup is how they actually play around top lane. And people aren't used to thinking that because they're like, top lane island, the dragons are on the bottom half of the map, so we should probably concentrate a lot of our efforts there. But TSM, Dardoch and Broken Blade have a very good relationship, and also it shows up in the stats. Their jungle proximity for top lane for TSM is higher than the average for most LCS teams. Plus, if you look at who they're playing, some of the 100 Thieves wins were like 90% some days doing.
Right.
And so Meteos is going to have his hands full if TSM picks carry champion for Broken Blade on the top side and Dardoch starts to go up there. They're going to have to make sure that Someday is well equipped to defend for 100 Thieves.
Now, probably, do you want Someday on an island defending in that 2v1 matchup, or do you want Meteos to go help
absolutely
him?
not. Don't hurt him that bad.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. All right, Meteos is a pretty smart guy. I think they're gonna have a good plan to be able to cover Someday's top lane. Like maybe not like hard gank it the way TSM's gonna play it, but at least be there to cover the dives when big waves are gonna come in, or be able to stop Bjergsen from making those roams up. So I think they'll be able to kind of cauterize that wound.
What's particularly interesting for me in this matchup is the fact that we are focusing around the top laners and the junglers, as opposed to this mid lane matchup where I think maybe in previous splits, previous metas, you'd be looking at a player like Bjergsen against Ryoma and saying, I expect this to be a smash, 20 CS lead, 2 solo kills, something like that, but we don't seem to be talking about the mid lane the same way anymore.
I think it's mostly due to how the meta is playing with, or mid laners are playing in the meta, excuse me. You don't see the absolutely lane dominant advantage you used to see it. You still see it a little bit, but when you look at the CSD differentials between the bottom player and the top player in mid lane, that's the worst mid laner in the league statistically for CSD. Ryoma at -2.5. Jensen's the best at +2.4. It's totally different from previous seasons when you would see people with 10 CS leads. And it's just different how the meta plays and what they want out of their mid laners.
And I'd say one of the big differences is, since kind of Doinb and FPX at Worlds open people's eyes to the power of roaming your mid laner around, when a mid laner now has a big advantage and there is a mismatch there, very often they will just shove their wave, let their opponent catch it. So the CS difference isn't as big, but then they go somewhere else and you create opportunity for your team.
Yeah, this is a big contrast because before, especially like Bjergsen would always have great stats because, yeah, the lane is coming to him, he's gonna call his jungler, and then you're not gonna be able to touch that CS. So now it's slightly different where if he gets that advantage, he's gonna shove out and leave. So you don't see these like gigantic growths like you used to. But I'm gonna say, I think the game is a lot more exciting when the mid lane is not just sitting there looking at numbers and getting So I do like this movement in the meta.
So we do still expect a mismatch, but we're gonna have to see it in a different way for this game. We're taking a quick break. When we return, we make our own pros. That'll be fun. Welcome back to the LCS Countdown. We're about 14 minutes away from game 1 of the day. I want you to think of your favorite pro. Now think of one thing you would take from another player to make your favorite pro better. Now do that a few more times, and we've got the subject of our next segment, where our analysts will build their Frankenstein's monster of a perfect LCS pro. First up, Mark.
All right.
Give us your Frankenstein.
So here's my Frankenstein. I'm going to start with Jizuke's heart. This guy's never seen a play that he doesn't want to take. And I appreciate the enthusiasm.
Is that a good thing?
Well, when you compare it with Core JJ's brain, so you go through a little bit more filtering to make sure you're making good decisions while believing everything you want to. You then add Hai's mouth. No one has been a better communicator in the LCS.
In game.
Not just,
Wait,
he's
isn't your
smart,
mouth a
but
lot
he's good about
connected
getting
to your brain kind of
the
thing?
details out to people, which I think is critical. That is an overlooked part. And then you edit with Bjergsen's hands to execute on the vision of this play.
All right.
And that's my Frankenstein's monster, which
I like it. I like how it's 3 mid laners and a support.
Whoa, what the?
What? Oh my God. Oh no. What did you create, Mark? What have you done?
This is a kill.
Is that Hai's mouth? Oh, I guess I can see it.
It's Hai's mouth. It's Bjergsen's beard. It's Core JJ's hair.
Okay, that's
And Jizuke's heart didn't make it in.
Jizuke's heart.
then
It's in
also
there
green.
somewhere. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, that's wild. But yeah, okay, so three mid laners and then with the brain of a support.
Hey, I guess I didn't really think about it, but that sounds right.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good, right? Okay.
So I don't know who's going next, but Mark stole one of my parts.
You're next,
whoops.
Kobe.
I got to the grave first.
You grave robber.
Yeah, I got.
Oh, okay, Kobe. Well, hit us with what you got.
All right, so mine, I was gonna start with Blabber's hands, Blabber's mechanics.
Okay.
I have a little bit jungle bias in mine, by the
course,
way.
yeah.
Because I really like Blabber's aggressiveness and creating plays and stuff.
Right.
I also paired it with Core JJ's head. I termed
Good.
it as map
Good
awareness.
head. He's got a good head.
Map
took the
awareness
brain.
and vision,
Yeah.
but yes, Core JJ's brain also. This might be a theme where a lot of us are using this part. And then I added in Golden Glue's hearts.
Ooh, he's a fighter.
He is a fighter.
Yeah, contrary, it's a little bit different than Jizuke's heart. Golden Glue's never going to give up on you,
Right.
right? No matter how bad the game is, we're scaling for late. We can always come back, never forfeit.
Yep.
And then another jungler, I got Xmithy in there for the teamwork and reliability. Because if we're making a Frankenstein Pro, we need someone to bring them all together. And Xmithy has been able to make any roster he's on
So
work.
Xmithy is literally
Oh
the
my
glue for
God.
your Frankenstein. He is the
He's
glue
the
that will hold your Frankenstein together.
I feel like my Frankenstein is better looking than Mark's.
It's weird because they took Smithy's smirk, but then put a different mouth on it.
Yeah,
like
it's
you
great.
can see, like the cheek is the same as Smithy's.
I love it. I love it. We also got
This
the
monster's
circular
not very
glasses in there
amused.
as well. These are really
Mine's
well
a
done.
fun-loving monster. My monster is gonna win you some games. I bet my monster beats Mark.
All right.
I'm
Yeah,
up for it.
later we'll have to figure out a way to make all these Frankensteins do battle, but probably you are our third and final Frankenstein creator.
All right. So I will say there's a little mid lane bias where I got two. I'm gonna go ahead and start with Bjergsen. I'm retaining the beard and the Twitter followers. My pro is all around balanced. So
How can we forget
Just
the
going for
perfect pro?
He's literally going for the branding
how
play.
are you gonna get
Yeah,
on?
he went for the branding
Yeah,
play.
how are you gonna get on a team? But if you're like this, you can get on a team. So beard causes beard envy. It's gonna be spread around the entire LCS. We got Huni here. This is my brain. Now,
What?
it's a little bit of a crazy brain.
Yes.
But I'm gonna say, as a mid laner, I appreciate the aggression and
Okay.
troll picks and charisma as a team leader.
I like where he's going because Huni trash talks a lot. If you combine that
true.
with the Twitter followers of Bjergsen, then he has more reach.
You got a big audience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But what about the game?
audience.
What about
Okay.
winning?
If you beat
We're
your
getting
opponents
to that,
mentally
okay?
first, it
Okay.
doesn't matter what
All
happens
right.
on the rim.
So, I like how you mentioned the trash talk. We'll come back to it. Now we're going with Jinsen's hands. Now, he's a youthful player. We have no injuries, and he's already a mid laner, so him being able to play mid lane is going to be pretty easy.
Yep.
I think that's a no-brainer. Now, double lift. So far, it has not performed well in spring,
Yeah.
so I'm not taking any of his in-game abilities, but I'm going to only take his ability to talk trash. We have no mid laners that talk trash
Yeah.
in LCS. So
Throw it
now,
down, baby.
my Frankenstein monster is going to dominate mid lane and then trash talk everyone.
Wait, why
Oh
is
my
his
God.
green?
I like yours didn't
He's
go
not
green.
green.
And it has no stitches.
Yeah,
Wait,
actually,
you did the best
Does
job.
that,
Yeah,
does that
this is
mean
not that
does that
bad.
mean he did create the perfect Frankenstein?
I did it better.
Because it all just
Yeah.
came together?
I think I've seen this guy play before.
I think
His face looks
he's
smush.
the new,
What do you
he's the
do
new
to-
pickup.
Yeah.
What
He's
do you
the new
do to his
pickup.
face? It's
Maybe
I mean,
he created a camera-ready Frankenstein.
yeah, look
right.
how beautiful that
Yeah,
bug is.
this
it
one
doesn't
already
matter.
went, this
Mine
one
will
went
tear
for
him
makeup.
apart.
Yeah.
It'll tear him apart in the rip. Yours will have more Twitter engagement, but mine will win.
I don't know about that.
All right, well, fair enough. I think the three of you created some fantastic pros, but if you at home have a perfect pro, please tweet out your recipe to @LCSofficial, and we'll review some of them towards the end of the day. MasterCard, though, is giving away a trip to the spring finals. There are two ways to win. Either purchase RP using your MasterCard or save that card in the league client. Both ways automatically enter you to win. Get that set up during the break, and we'll catch you here for more Countdown.
It's Saturday morning and you are tuned in to the LCS, which means just one thing. That's right, friends. It's time to talk about your financial well-being, and I'm here to help you make sense of the LCS stock market. Let's get to it. Cloud9 are flying high in the standings, so if you have no taste for risk, keep your money parked right where it is. But if you're like me and are looking to put your money in the fast lane and grow those beautiful greenbacks, you might do well to look elsewhere. TSM may have hit a few bumps in the road, but their schedule is easing up with games against 100 Thieves, Evil Geniuses, and Counterlogic Gaming. So they might be able to pick up some speed and a few wins to boot. Your portfolios are gonna like that. I guarantee it. One note of caution, Dignitas are looking at a schedule against 4 teams that are all above them in the standings, which could test the holo hype train. But hey, if you're dig and dig, who am I to stop you from doubling down? Listen to your heart. All right, happy investors, those are just a few stocks to keep in mind as you make your picks, and may the market be ever in your favor.
If you're digging dig, double down. Thank you, Riv, and welcome to the LCS stock market. Let's first take a look at how the stocks have shifted over the last couple weeks. And they have moved quite a bit. You will see Cloud9 is off to the races. 140 separates them in second place there in the stock market. That's pretty nutty. So an expensive buy, but if you think they're gonna go undefeated, they would still be a wise one. Surprisingly, Team Liquid, even with their disappointing start to the split, still sitting as the 4th most expensive stock on the market.
I mean, who would buy all in on Team Liquid?
Who would ever
who would do that?
Something as ill-advised as that? I really don't know. But probably, I'm gonna come to you, sir, as our current investment leader.
What? Mike first?
Hit me with the knowledge, my friend.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know I'd make it this far. I didn't really prepare a
Buy
speech.
good teams.
But
Buy good teams.
I split C9 and TSM at the start. I've been holding them, and just recently I was able to reinvest into another TSM stock because I'm just doing too well.
Did so well, he picked up another. How do you reconcile kind of the tumultuous split that TSM has had on the, the O2s followed by 2 Os? They've really been up or down, hot or cold.
I will say they did have a little downtick, but I think this is the time to buy now that it's low because it's only gonna go up. And yeah, the hype train was slightly derailed, but I'm at least on like the hype mining cart that pushes itself down the railroad.
Right.
That's what I'm
so
doing.
you still have to do some work.
I'm doing some work.
He still has to do some work, but he's there. He's on the train. I mean, we heard Riv call out the TSM schedule is looking pretty good over the next 2 weeks for them. But I'm going to move right along to Mark, your portfolio, one of those savvy investors that put a lot of money behind Team Liquid.
I don't think I deserve the term savvy anymore.
Anymore? Yeah. When did you deserve that?
Maybe never. So I stayed with Team Liquid, but I didn't actually look at what they were valued at. I was just hate betting on them again, rage rebetting. I was re-upping. We were in the story meeting. They're like, we're gonna need your stocks, and I was like, Team Liquid again. I'm not selling. I didn't realize that there were still so many. Yeah, they're so high. I do think that eventually they're gonna turn it around, but I'm basically on TL all season long at this point. I just can't give it up.
Mark's one of those with, the gambling problem. He's a rage buys back in. I'm not wrong. They're gonna come back.
They're turning the corner.
Yeah, that was my unlucky streak. The luck is about to come.
Yeah.
All right, Kobe, finish us off here. What do you got for us?
Honestly, I'm as stubborn as Mark.
Wait, what? Both of you guys did
So, last week, or not last week, it's every 2 weeks we rebuy in. Both me and Mark bought in all in Team Liquid because we thought, all right, they're gonna make their big comeback. They're gonna start playing 5-on-5, standard compositions here, no more Senna's type of deals. And they tanked our stocks. So I would double down on it. I'm a very stubborn person.
You
Just
copied my
Google
homework.
sunken cost fallacy, just real quick.
You
and then
copied
tell
my
me what comes
homework.
back.
I was like, change it a little.
But let me give you actual reasoning for why. Because at the end of last week, they did show in the final game, they have a very standard tank frontline, double lift on Varus, classic double lift champion. They know how to win still. And Broxa's now been here. They've had an extra amount of time to practice with them.
Mark,
you're on my side.
You're right. My favorite part about all this, though, is that while you two made the same investment, Kobe's portfolio is large enough that he can afford
I got
more
8.
TL stock.
Well, yeah, he started with the C9.
So
good
I
job.
am still second place.
How is that possible?
Because in the first round of investment, I went all Cloud9, and they cashed me out.
Okay. Cloud9 has been doing well for a few folks here. With your bets placed, though, let's see how closely your predictions sync up. Agreement across the board in the first 2 games of the day. That makes some sense to me. But then Dig against Immortals and Golden Guardians against Flying Quest. Kobe, you find yourself as the odd man out. What do you think?
I think they have these reversed. I believe I am the crazy person in this one.
I
think I have the middle column.
That's okay.
So Mark, you are going for Immortals and Golden Guardians.
Yes.
Okay, why?
Which one first?
Immortals first.
I think
They are second.
I've not been
second place
impressed with
team.
Dignitas very much. They don't seem to have a very fast playstyle for closing games out. And as we've seen from Immortals, the longer the game goes on, they tend to find a way to win. And so I think they will be okay against them. We're talking about how the mid lane difference isn't that bad in this current split, at least in terms of farm and gold and things like that. And Dig doesn't have an explosive early game. So I think it'll go late. I think Immortals is better late.
Okay. How do you guys reconcile that?
I was banking pretty big on the Froggen versus Ica matchup, being really heavily Froggen flavored.
I agree.
It's going to be Froggen flavored for sure, my
They're
friend.
in the soup.
Oh, yeah, it's the soup.
So it's okay. It can be
It's
Froggen
the soup, and it's Froggen flavored.
Maybe not the best spice, but
Let's go to that fourth matchup of the day where, again, you chose Golden Guardians.
This one was harder to sell myself on. I did it anyways.
Good.
Interestingly, when we were looking at kills and assists at 15 on average, Ignar is actually the highest in the league.
He
which
is,
blows
individually.
my brain how good he's playing. Keith and FBI have been stepping up. I'm hoping that they continue to do that and hold Ignar back a little bit.
Okay, so you're thinking that FlyQuest won't achieve those similar numbers
Right,
because Golden Guardians has ramped
They've been
up.
playing a lot better.
Probably give me the quick case on the other side for FlyQuest.
FlyQuest, I'm gonna say overall are just slightly stronger than Golden Guardians. I think Golden Guardians is still like trying to find its groove, especially with like the jungle support synergy. I noticed like Keith is stepping up for sure, but I don't see them being able to close games properly.
Yeah.
And FlyQuest I think is a good overall like low risk kind of team to bet on. So I think this is like pretty close. Like I'd say 55-45. It's not
Alrighty.
gonna be a storm.
You got a quick
I
final
wanted
point?
to throw a little bit
Yeah,
of
get
stats
in there.
because this is a really interesting support matchup for me because Ignar is one of the highest roam percentages, which is the opposite of duo percent. So he spends some of the least amount of time with his AD carry, affects the rest of the map, roams around with those CC champions. Keith has one of the highest because, he's newer to the role, so he always sticks with FBI.
An exciting tee-up for our fourth game of the day. It's time for the first one, though, so we're going to send it over to the casters for game one. Riv, and a literal former world champion. Anger never helped him improve. It made him deny his own mistakes. Put the blame on.
Thank you so much, Dash.
All right.
Memes will be dreams. We're going to put that one to bed for now. We do have a champion on the desk here.
What's up?
Zale Cummings Bentley. And we also have champion select coming up shortly for you with this 100 Thieves versus TSM game. We're going to see how they do here and what homework they have done.